Hey there friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and on my latest Marvel Rivals video, I got a ton of comments talking about how unfun the dive meta currently is, and how a lot of players are quitting the game, at least temporarily, until the meta shifts. And while I don't personally think the dive meta is all that bad, I do understand why players are not enjoying themselves with the way things currently are. And this is a problem that we've seen across pretty much every hero shooter before Marvel Rivals as well, so it's not an uncommon thing. But Dive specifically tends to really force players to change how they play the game, and that's something that especially casual, quick play, and lower to mid-tier competitive players don't want to have to do as often. Vanguards, for example, they want to oftentimes frontline. They want to hold up their shield, they want to create space and push forward, and they can't do that when they are not getting enough healing because their strategists are constantly getting dove, and those strategists have to adjust priorities. Alongside that, then you have the strategist players who want to be able to heal their team. They want to focus on the job that they're supposed to be doing, but when they're constantly getting dove, they're fighting for their lives and they are unable to actually do the role that they want to play. And so that's really where the disconnect comes down, is that everyone doesn't want to adjust the way that they play and help the team out in general. You have duelist characters who won't swap to an anti-dive option, or at least learn to peel for their teammates. You have vanguards who won't pull back for their healers in order to protect them, and then you have the strategists who won't learn to play characters that really thrive in anti-dive compositions or are able to sustain themselves until support arrives. Sometimes when you're playing a strategist and you just get insta-killed by a Spider-Man or Black Panther combo, it just feels like there's nothing you can do. But oftentimes there is. Not only can you play a certain hero who is better at countering dive, you can make sure your positioning is such that way you can have help nearby as you are healing your squad or healing yourself. You can save some of your cooldowns in order to keep yourself alive or keep your other strategists alive. Oftentimes when you are playing strategists, you and your fellow strategists are going to have to work together in order to keep each other alive first, and that's when you can push on and then help your vanguards and your duelists. Another major issue with this is that duelist players tend to spam need healing while not pulling back for their teammates and helping their strategists stay alive, or searching for med packs in order to heal themselves that way. It's a major problem. Now, I oftentimes play a lot of anti-dive characters. I've been doing this since day one of Marvel Rivals, and because of that, I'm very comfortable in the current meta, more so than I guess a lot of people. I've been playing Penny Parker. I like to play Namor as well, who is very good for, even without his team up, he can be really solid dealing with dive characters. But even outside of them, you can play a Vanguard like Emma Frost and just peel for your healers. You can play Mr. Fantastic or the Thing, who can pull back and leap back to the aid of their healers in order to protect them, take out the diving character, and then push back into the front line. These are things that I don't see often enough. And again, they require you to be more aware of what's happening when your healers are getting dove. They also require you to be able to be flexible and not just do the job that you assume you're meant to be doing at any given time. When you get to higher ranks, and then also on PC specifically, dive isn't as much of a problem, because not only strategists are able to dish out enough damage to take them down pretty consistently, but you have players who are aware of dive on the enemy team and they're able to pull back and help out. And that's where I think a lot of players can learn from that and really improve their own gameplay instead of just complaining. The issue is that most players won't do that. If they're not enjoying themselves with the game, if they can't play the style that they want to, oftentimes they will just put the game down until they can play the way that they want to play. And that's never going to change. I know high skill players will complain, oh, you can't cater to the casuals, but the truth is that top level players will continue to play the game and they will adjust over the course of time to the current meta. It's the middle and lower tier players, not just skill level, but time wise, players who don't have the energy and the time of day in order to constantly be learning the new meta, changing up what characters they're able to play. And once they do that, they just get bored of the game. They get tired of it. They get tired of constantly getting rolled because they have learned a certain way to play. And when they can't do that any longer, they just fall behind even more because they don't have 5, 7, 10 hours to play Marvel Rivals each and every day. And that's another issue that I think players often don't consider. You want people to improve and adjust and make changes, but it's not always possible. Dive specifically alters a lot of that. It's one thing to get one shot from across the map, but you understand that the other team has good aim, and then you can kind of play behind cover, play behind shields. It's not going to be as ever present. But if you play a dive team and you're just constantly dying, you're unable to do anything essentially besides try to deal with the dive characters yourself. And then if you're losing that fight each and every time, it just becomes an oppressive meta. And that's why I do think changes will be needed. Now, that being said, going into Season 2.5, the mid-season update, I do think we will get some pretty big adjustments that are going to make the meta shift. Not only do we have Ultron as a new character who will be a flying strategist who should be able to avoid a lot of the dive problems, like Black Panther, for example, is going to have a hard time dealing with him, I would imagine. So that's going to be some big changes. Strategists should be able to do more damage as well with the next patch, which I think will help them out quite a bit. But also, I think that we'll probably see some balance patching. We know characters who are lesser used will likely get buffed. Maybe we see Black Widow get buffed enough to be in the meta. Maybe we see Jeff the Landshark. Maybe even Penny Parker becomes meta because of how good she is, and if she rises up the ranks, then we're going to see less dive naturally because you have a deterrent. And that's something that I think players don't understand as well, is that over the course of time, metas shift not only because of the new characters introduced, but because of the balance changes that arrive and because players learn how to adapt. So hopefully that's what happens, and hopefully a lot of players don't just give up the game and never come back because they got so sick of being dove constantly. And yeah, just my advice would be to learn at least one character per role that you can deal with the least fun types of combinations. If you have a character you can play that can counter dive, then definitely be considerate enough to switch to that once the enemy team is giving you a hard time. Same thing with long-range sniper characters. You should always have a character in your bag who can deal with those types of situations. And if you don't, then just keep working at it and it'll come eventually. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.